Hey everyone, welcome to Nerds Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
And today we are reviewing episode 5, chapter 5 of the Mandalorian TV show that is on Disney+. Chapter 5 is called The Gunslinger. So as always, we'll kind of go through the episode with you. If you haven't seen it, go ahead, watch it, and then come back and watch our review after the fact. We will be going through spoilers. But I guess quickly, overall, how did you think of this particular episode in comparison to the other ones?
Yeah, I enjoyed it actually. Was interested to see where they're going to go next. We'll touch on it later, but they added another element that they haven't in the past episodes. So each episode brings something new to it, which is exciting. So I've been enjoying it chapter after chapter.
Absolutely. I like the way it kicked off. I like the title, The Gunslinger. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Like, again, Wild West. Yeah. We got to see some nice Easter eggs or some nice flashbacks and kind of things we've seen before. And then obviously a lot of new stuff. So I really liked this episode. And again, it just feels like every episode just brings something new to the table. Yeah. It definitely keeps it exciting.
Definitely. And this one was definitely more of a Western feel.
Yes.
Especially with the atmosphere and the things that they were going through. But I definitely got that feeling of the Western, old school Western type.
Absolutely. So let's kick into it. So we have the show. It kind of kicks off with Mandalorian basically in a space battle.
There we go. You were saying the only thing that's missing is the
space battle.
Space battle. See how his... At first, I'm like, well, Mike wanted to see how his skills were at a ship battle, and he's not doing so well.
No, not doing
his
so well.
His engines are getting shot out, and he's just taking hit after hit.
And then he pulls a Top Gun where he hits the brakes, the guy flies right by him and gets him into sights. I mean, that's so cool.
Exactly, and I like that. That's my line, because he's like, I can either bring you in warm or cold.
Yeah.
Slams on the brakes. Definitely reminded me of Top Gun as well. Especially with the person who was going, I believe it was a bounty hunter that was going after him.
That's all we know. Was a bounty hunter.
The way his helmet, he kind of had like fangs or teeth on it.
I didn't know.
It kind of reminded me of like the Maverick or the Top Gun movies where like all the guys had paintings on their helmets and stuff like that.
I didn't notice it looked more like a rebel helmet, like a standard like flight helmet. But yeah. I thought I saw some like little teeth or something on the design. Nice.
So it totally reminded me. And then when he cocked it back and slammed on the brakes and the guy flew over him, it definitely reminded me of Top Gun as well.
It was really cool.
Very cool.
And so he takes him out, and then obviously because his ship is damaged, he's losing fuel. He's got to go land. And he's trying to repair his ship. He's doing different things, hitting different flips and switches and stuff, and kind of gets it going. And I think, if I remember correctly, I think the child, for the first time that I can remember, very audibly like laughs or something like that. And I was like, it sounds literally like a baby that you've heard in like tons of movies, but just was funny that it was like, oh, it's like not even like changing the sound of the baby. No, it sounds like a human baby.
Yeah, definitely. They just took sound effects from babies and just put them in. But I also like that the child is strapped into a crate, it looks like.
Oh yeah.
For the first time, so he's not pushing buttons and everything, he's just strapped in like a car seat.
Yeah, and especially when the ship went over and stuff, he was stationary.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's starting to get bit by bit baby proofing his equipment.
That's it.
A little bit. So that was nice to see as well.
Yeah. So they survive the attack, they go and land, and then it turns out that he's calling down to someone, and it turns out he's calling down to Mos Eisley Spaceport.
So do you know who that voice was?
The voice? Answered? I did not.
It's the actor that played Zeb in Rebels. And Dave Filoni was the director in this one.
That makes sense. Sense.
So he was the voice for that guy calling in to say, land in Dock 3 or something like that, I think it was.
Awesome. I didn't pay attention. Yeah. That's a cool pickup.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mos Eisley, as we know, is the famous cantina that Obi-Wan and Luke had the altercation where they met Han Solo, where they killed Greedo. The famous cantina in episode 4 is Mos Eisley. And so that's where they're heading. So they make mention of them being on Tatooine. He lands in a very similar spaceport that looks like where Han Solo
with the Millennium Falcon was. Yeah,
very cool.
Looks very, very awesome.
Yep, he lands. The first thing you see is pit droids again from the pod race Tatooine.
Yeah, so they got the Anakin background in the first movie, episode 1. So I thought they kind of drew a little bit from the past saga and like little bits and everything, which was very nice. And to bring back a planet for the first time that we know.
Yes.
I mean, it can be very difficult because that's a huge part of the story.
But because it's after all the
saga
is
so
done,
they can change
like,
it,
which
they did.
Yeah, because, since episode 6, we've never been on Tatooine. Force Awakens, Last Jedi, they never go back there.
Exactly.
So this is like, what has happened now? Now that Empire's gone, and we get to see that.
Yeah.
We get to see him. So, let's talk about the hangar. So he kind of lands, and there's some pit droids that kind of all get up and run and grab their tools and run to the ship, and he shoots them. They freak out.
They go.
We hear some lady freak out. Hey, what are you doing? You're damaging my droids.
Breaking me about it, kind of thing.
Yeah, comes by and he's like, keep the droids away from my ship, kind of thing, or no droids or something like that. And so she comes down and she's scanning, and it's like, oh, some carbon scoring, and you got some issues here, and it looks like you guys have been in a space battle. You're lucky you were even able to land.
Which really reminded me of Luke with R2. When he's scrubbing him, he's like, oh, you got some carbon and scoring. It looks like you guys have been in some battles and stuff like that. So it was like very... And then even later on, she says, swamp rat?
Womp rat. Calls him a womp rat, yeah.
Which is on Tatooine. Yeah, which is what Luke would go and hit with his fighter at the time.
T-16.
And just, practice on those.
Yeah.
So very... little Easter eggs here and there with little comments and the things that they're saying.
Oh yeah, just like this is the same planet. This is how the people live, and kind of this is where they are now. So he kind of lands. So she's like, he's asking her if she can fix it up, whatever. But she doesn't want the droids, and so he gives her some money, and she goes, "Oh, this is enough to cover the hangar, but not enough to cover the repairs." And he's like, "Oh, I'll get the money."
And the money was Republic or
Imperial. Yeah, he gave her. He's like, I got 100 Imperial credits, and she's like, is that enough? And she's like, it's enough for the hangar. So she accepted it because I guess on Tatooine there was an Empire presence, there was the huts, there was a whole bunch of stuff going on.
Which was mentioned in the first movie. Yeah. What's his name? The guy that gives the bounties. His name's
Jabba the Hutt?
No, from the first episode, chapter 1.
Oh, the Carl Weathers character.
Yes,
Carl Weathers. I don't know his name though.
Because he's like, they still spend. So it's showing that
they're still accepted in some places.
Some places,
yeah, some places don't accept them. Some do.
So Tatooine obviously does in some spots. So
yeah, so it's like great. Get rid of the stuff that isn't as important anymore.
Exactly.
So he goes out, I guess, looking for work. So he heads out to the cantina.
Yeah.
And so he starts taking us. Well, before he does that, he locks little baby Abby there in like an area of the ship, right?
Yeah.
And like shuts the door and everything. It's like, okay, you're in there. But he takes off, and so the pit droids are kind of like out and about, and she's got to go and fix the ship. So he leaves it in her hands. He heads off, and so he's walking down the exact area where you remember like Obi-Wan and Luke came, and the stormtroopers are like, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Like similar.
Yeah.
They did a great job recapturing that area.
Yeah.
He's
walking. And then you
by.
see the spikes with the stormtroopers on.
All the
kind of showing that like this is no more Imperial.
Yes,
forces
like celebration, like it's dead, it's gone, like beware, no Empire allowed kind of thing. So he heads down, he gets into the cantina, the door opens, he heads in, and it's like, oh yeah, this is similar.
The famous, but it's so empty.
Yes, very empty. The bartender is no longer human, he's the droid now.
Which is funny because
no droids were allowed.
No droids allowed, and now they're running the place.
Yep. Still some weird aliens. You got some weird praying mantis looking alien. You got some lizard looking one. Again, try to keep things, again, it's a watering hole, but it is empty. Things have changed quite a bit since Tatooine. So we got to see that. What else did we see?
Looks a lot cleaner because when he was asking for bounties, he said the guild no longer works here. So it means like the huts are gone. Like, well, Jabba's killed.
Yep.
So after that, the crime kind of just dispersed from Tatooine, it seems, and it's very cleaned up.
Yeah,
so that's why the bar was pretty empty as well.
And he was looking specifically for bounties. And like, there's nothing here for you. And then lo and behold, someone behind him,
in the same stance,
same Han Solo kind of thing.
Han Solo, feet up on the table.
Shows the coin in his hand and had the Rebel insignia.
Yes, I noticed
Rebel
that as well.
Credits or Rebel money. I'd assume is what it was.
Yeah,
and he's like, oh, Mandalorian or Mando, come here. I got some work for you. You're looking for a job, whatever it is. And so he introduced himself as Toro Calican, who we find out later on is the gunslinger, the aforementioned gunslinger that the episode is named after.
Correct.
And so he is saying that he's after a bounty and he needs his help.
Yeah,
he's part of the guild. The puck comes up and it's they're looking for this assassin named Fennec Shand, who's played by Meng Na Wen, who was basically on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
So
I saw her on there.
I was like, that's cool. Bring her in. She's a great fighter, and we get to see that as well. Great role for her, assassin.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So he sits down. He's like, how long have you been with the guild? And he's like, oh, like forever or whatever. Yeah. And he's like, clearly not. Like, if you know who Fennec Shand was, like she, his words were, she made her name killing for all the top crime syndicates, including the Hutts. So so we're talking like the top crime syndicates. We know that Crimson Dawn was one.
Mm-hmm.
So that was led by, we find out, Darth Maul. We have the Hutt cartel. We have the pirates, which they are various pirates, but we know Hondo Ohnaka's clan was a famous pirate clan. So we'd assume these are all different crime syndicates, right? Yeah. The Black Dawn, and there's another one, or Black Sun. Yeah, it's Crimson Dawn, Black Sun, and there's another one too. Yeah. But anyway, so she's deadly. And a lot of people heard it out because of how great she was. So he's like, yeah, you don't know her. You're going to go out there. You're going to get killed.
Yeah.
And so he's like, this is my first mission. Like, I need you. Don't leave me.
Yeah.
Like, I need some
This
help.
is my ticket into the guild.
Yes. He's like, I'll give
you
you all
can
the
keep
money.
the money. Exactly.
I just want to get in the guild. I just want to do this
fame.
for a living.
Yeah.
And so Mandalorian kind of, I guess, takes pity on him and knows, like,
It's
well, I
free
need the money.
Yeah.
So he says, okay, meet me at hangar, blah, blah, blah. I can't remember the name, 36 or 136 or something like that.
Yeah.
With 2 speeders and at
give
this
me
time.
Give me the fob.
Oh, yeah, give me the fob. And so the guy breaks the fob and says, it's all in here. You need me.
Yeah. Looks like we're together.
Very leery, which is, I guess, if you're a bounty hunter, I guess you have to be because they're just there for the money. Most bounty hunters are just get my bounty, get the money. And so if I don't have to share it, I won't. Like, there's no rules. It's Wild West. So I can kill you and take your bounty. Like, so, yeah, I guess the guild is supposed to be a little bit more like you're in cahoots. Like, while you can have your own bounties, you kind of respect each other.
Or just like IG-11. Said, I'm in the guild.
Yeah, like...
After you got shot, he's like, I thought I was by myself.
The rules are like not to hurt each other kind of thing. Versus just a wild lone wolf bounty hunter, right? Yeah. So he heads off. He goes back to his ship, looking for
equipment, and then notices
that the door's open and the child's gone. So he freaks out. Where is he? And then so the lady who has I guess there's a flashback.
Part, yeah.
So why don't you explain that?
There's a part where the lady is playing sabacc with her droids, and all of a sudden she hears a noise coming from the ship. She gets one of the droids to get her gun, and then she says, I was staying there if I were you, and then sees little Yabby walking down there and picks him up and just like, oh, you're
and then
all
he even
alone.
has his hands up, like, pick me up. I'm like, oh my gosh, how more adorable can they make this?
They're going to cash in so big.
So big.
But, so she gets introduced to him and says, this child can't be by himself.
Yeah, maybe I'll watch you, and then charge
get some extra money.
Yeah.
So she has a plan, even though it's not all in goodwill, but she does kind of grow a bond with
absolutely. So when he comes back and sees your eyes, he's like, "Where is he?" Blah, blah, blah. She freaks out.
She was sleeping. She's like, "I'm awake.
Yeah, and then the kid starts crying.
Yeah.
So he's crying.
You know how long it took me to get this to sleep? Yeah.
And so he's like, "Give it to me." And they're talking, and she's talking about, "Well, you can't just leave him in the ship." Whatever, and she's like, I'll watch him and this and that, whatever. And so I guess he decides that it's in the best interest for her to watch him because he's got to go on this mission anyway. Yeah. So as he heads out to go meet Toro, she follows him outside with the child.
He goes, "Thank you." And she goes, "Oh, I didn't expect that."
Yeah, that's right.
Threw him off but he's like, oh, grateful. He's a different kind of bounty hunter, and I guess she's not used to that kind of thing.
Oh no,
definitely has a heart, which we're seeing with.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, you got a job. I see. Like you must have a job if you're going out.
Feeding an extra mouth.
Yeah, so he heads outside. So she follows him with the child, and so Toro's there. He's like, I did good, and he has these old school speeder bikes from episode 6.
Yes,
the Scout troopers used. Really
Another
cool.
little Easter egg there.
Really, really cool. And then it also is like, again, going back to the Western thing, it's like they're mounting up on their horses. Like, we're on a mission. Here's the horses. Brought the horses around. Let's get on and go.
Yeah.
Which is the Star Wars version, is like these speeder bikes out in Tatooine. So it's really cool. He kind of looks over and sees the kid and kind of like, what's that?
Yeah.
Just kind of doesn't make anything, but kind of notices it. And then they kind of take off and away they go.
Yeah.
And so she stays back and watches the kid. They go on their mission. They fly out into the desert, and
it's the old dunes, right? The dunes,
sand dunes.
The
dunes. Yeah, it's a huge.
So they call it the dunes.
Out past the dune sea.
Yeah, which is where Obi-Wan was. Luke says Obi-Wan lives out in the old dune seas.
Right. But so it is a big area. It is a big area.
Another little name drop location that we kind of know of if you're paying attention to old Star Wars movies and such.
Yes.
You hear these little names or references. It's like, oh. Pick up on that. Little Easter eggs that they drop that different people can pick up on, which is fantastic. Which is what I look forward to every episode, just to kind of nitpick at what I can kind of find during them.
It just makes it feel like this is a real thing happening. It's really happening in the world. Even though it's separate, it still feels like you're there.
It kind of brings little bits back to make it known as part of the universe, part of the the saga, part of everything.
Yeah. So they're heading out, and then the Mandalorian kind of tells them to stop. And so he's like, what's going on? So he says, so they go out and he's like, give me your binoculars. So they go look, and what do they see? They see 2 banthas and some Tusken Raiders out in Tatooine, which is what we expect, especially in this area.
Yeah.
And so he's like, Tusken Raiders are there, and he's like, oh, who cares? If they get near us, they better not get near us, whatever.
I'll tell them.
Yeah, I'll show them whatever. He's like, oh yeah, why don't you tell them yourself? He looks back and boom, they're there. So he freaks out, and so they kind of get their weapons ready, and of course Mandalorian's all cool. And he starts talking to them in sign language.
I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like, this is like, because they don't speak English. They have their own weird language. so much so that a lot of people like freak out and just attack and kill them because they don't know what's going on. They're like savages. They're considered savages. So he goes and he starts communicating, and it kind of makes you feel again as if they were like talking to natives.
Yeah,
because they live here. This is their world.
Well, he even says that. He says, well, they think they're the natives.
They're the locals, yeah. And
we're the locals. We're the intruders.
That's right. So he's and back in the day, how did people? Settlers came. They couldn't speak, so they had to sign language and try to figure out how to talk. And this, I mean, they were talking very fluently, so I guess he had dealt with them before, and this is kind of like the known way of doing it.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. Starts talking, whatever, and then we find out that what he's asking is permission to go on their land, knowing that it's their land, respecting them.
Gaining passage to
and so what Toro doesn't realize is that he promised to pay them something, which happened to be his binoculars.
Yeah, he's like, pass me your binoculars. He throws it over. Those are brand new. He's like, yep, they were. So so he traded their binoculars to allow them to kind of go through the land, the safe passage to the land. Exactly.
So they head off and away they go, and then again they stop. He says, like, stay down, and they kind of crawl over this down, and they're looking. Now here's the thing: he's looking. They don't have the binoculars, so he's just looking through his visor.
Yeah, they can see close enough that they can. Because I think
there is a thing where he's using his visor, like the Mando.
Yeah, they're trying to zoom in a little bit just to see what it is.
And so he's like, "What do you see?" He's like, "Oh, I see a dewback, and I see it looks like the driver
still attached.
being still attached." So he's like, "Is it the target?" And of course, they're like, "I don't know." So he says, "I'll go down and check it out."
Yeah.
So he grabs his gun and he kind of stinks down. He gets close. He flips the guy over, and it's like a dead person.
It was a bounty hunter.
Yeah, and he realizes there's a fob, and he's like, it's a bounty hunter. And then he realizes the fob is that he was tracking her. Then he freaks out and starts to like, oh, we better go. And then boom, gets shot once.
Yeah. Says, get down. Yeah, gets shot in the back.
Starts running. And just as he hops over, gets shot again.
Yeah.
And
I love the comment he makes.
Yeah, so the guy says something like, "Oh, were you hit?
Are you hit? Yeah, you hit the best scar steel."
Yeah, he's like, "I don't have any."
It can take it from a far distance.
Yeah,
he's like, "But I don't have it." He's like,
"Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I'm aware of that." Only we Mandos have that.
Yeah.
He's like, "So what do we do? What do we do?" So he says, "We're gonna wait till night.
Yeah.
You keep watch. I'm gonna get some rest." And he's like, "What if she runs?" And he says,
she has a high ground, so she's going to wait for us to make the
exactly, because she could take us off versus the other way around.
Exactly. Anyone with the high ground is always an advantage.
Yeah. So, okay, so of course he's right. So the wait, it's nighttime, and so...
I'm just going to go back.
Go ahead.
Even Obi-Wan told Anakin that he had the high ground.
That's true. That is true.
Come on. If anyone should have known, it was Anakin.
It was Anakin.
Sorry. Yeah. So
he throw it in there.
He goes down and falls asleep, and finally turns to night.
That's right. And so so the guy who's keeping watch, Toro, basically turns around and he's like, "Hey, Mando, it's nighttime, I'm ready to go." Yeah. And Mando's like passed out, but you can't tell he's wearing the helmet.
Exactly. So you can't tell.
He's like, "Mando, you awake?" So he pulls out his gun. He starts being like an idiot. Like I'm gonna kill you.
Like an old Western type practicing his draw, Han Solo.
And Mando just kind of looks over. He's like, "Are you done?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just waking you up. I wasn't really gonna kill you," kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they get up and he says, "Okay, so it's the plan." She says, "We're gonna get under speeder bikes. We're gonna go as fast as we can towards the mountain." He's like, "Well, we're gonna get shot." And he goes, "That's what these are for." And he tosses him this kind of flare, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And he says, "Shoot it up. We'll alternate turns shooting it up, and the bright light should blind her because it's so dark that bright light in the scope will disorient, and then hopefully that plus our speed will allow us enough time to get to her." So they're like, "Okay, let's do the plan." So they take off. Mandalorian is the first. She takes a shot. Misses, shoots the flare, and blinds it the first time. Then they're going, and then he's like, "Now!" So he shoots his flare, and then he shoots the next flare, but misses, and it kind of hits the ground,
and it kind of just
goes
like
off.
a dud.
So she's able to lead her shot, and ends up hitting the Mandalorian's speeder bike, which explodes, and he goes flying to the sound. So the other guy just kicks off as fast as he can towards the mountain, and then Mandalorian shoots one last flare because he's on the ground. Blinds her enough for him to get through, and then she takes her aim right at his armor, pulls the trigger, hits him once, right in the chest, it looks like, right? He gets knocked out, and then she's aiming right, I guess, at his neck, where she would take him out.
The sensor kind of had like red dots.
Critical.
Like, okay, this is where, this is where you can get it.
So she's aiming, and then bang, Toro's behind her and says,
not so fast.
Yeah, not so fast. Got her at gunpoint, and so
she pulls out a knife.
Fennec, out of her scope, has this little dagger kind of thing. Turns around, throws it, hits his gun under his hand, and then boom, now it's fisticuffs, and then boom, what she does in Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She gets her great fighting.
Fantastic. He even tries to hip throw her, and she lands on her feet and kind of throws him back and.
Great fight scene. Basically has him in a chokehold of their legs. Very like Black Widow style kind of thing, right?
Yeah, has him in arm, leg submission over his neck.
He's choking. She's about to take him out. And then Mandalorian, I guess, makes it there at this point and has her at gunpoint. And
says, nice distraction.
Yeah, nice distraction. Thanks for letting me get here kind of thing. And so then she has to give up. And so he tosses the handcuffs to her and tells the Toro to like, go get your gun. Go find your gun, your blaster, whatever. So he has to go look for it. Yeah. And they're having some conversations. And so they kind of lead her back to the speeder bike, which they realize there's only one. So she goes, oh, it looks like one of us is going to be walking because the speeder bikes only hold 2 people. Yeah. So one of us are going to be walking.
He says, we could drag you behind.
As we can drag you. But then he says, okay, we'll have to go after the dewback. So he says, Toro, why don't you go after the dewback and I'll watch her. And he says, no way, I'm going to leave you with the bounty and my ride because I don't trust you. Yeah. And so Madam kind of scans and again, with I guess heat signature or whatnot, sees where it is and says, okay, fine, I'll go get it. So he takes off and he says, watch her. Don't let her get near the speeder bike. She's not worth anything to us dead. And it was very, very cool that he said that because she perked up realizing, oh, like they need me alive, like to collect their bounty. So they're not going to kill me. So, let me see what I can do. So she's like a little bit more, at least if it felt like she was a little bit more calm, kind of like let the wheels start spinning.
Yeah, now I can plan while they're going away and there's only one of them.
There's only one of them. So he takes off.
She would say.
So he's sitting on the speeder bike. They're watching, and it looks like.
Well, actually, even after they were done fighting, she makes mention of that planet.
Navarro.
Were you on Navarro? There was a bounty or a Mandalorian that caused a bunch of hell. You look like you got other pretty decent.
Yeah, and of course he didn't say anything. Yeah, and so she makes mention of that, and so so after he leaves Toro's there, and it looks like the suns are coming up. So she kind of stretches, and then they start having a conversation. She's like, I
can pay. There's still time for me to make my rendezvous. I'll pay you double
and she mentions Mos Espa, which is another place on Tatooine, which was mentioned in video games and I think in another movie. Perhaps it just doesn't ring a bell if it was a movie, but definitely in the video games, Mos Espa is another specific area in Tatooine. But so she says, we can. I'll pay you double. If you let me free. And he goes, I don't care about the money. Exactly. And then and he's like, you're my ticket into the guild, and basically says, what he's trying to do, that he's not a full bounty hunter yet. And so she talks about like, well, being a bounty hunter is about you getting your bounty and surviving, and that's what's best for you. And he's like, again, I don't care about the money. So then she talks about the Mandalorian and bringing down a legendary Mandalorian that he she tells a story about some guys who shot up. And it kind of perks up about it. And it's like, can you imagine if you brought him in, you'd be like legendary. Yeah. And he's like,
you'd be welcome with open arms because that's the thing that they're looking for the
payback.
Most.
And then he's like, well, how can we tell it's him? And it's like, well, word says that that the person has a target on them, and then it's a child. Yeah. And then again, he perks up because he remembers seeing the little thing. And then she says there was something else that she said specific to him. She says it has a child. Oh, and we don't see very many Mandalorians anymore. So like, it's got to be him. Yeah. Even though, again, there were a bunch of Mandalorians, but because they killed everyone, no one was able to talk to say that there was this whole clan of Mandalorians. The story was there was a Mandalorian that shot up. Like, that's all. Whoever survived, that's all that they saw was the first one. Yeah. So it was very, very cool. So he kind of gets up. So she's like, let's make a deal. She goes, I'll even help you kill him.
Yeah, if you're afraid, then
I'll help you. I'll help you take it down. So he kind of stands up. He puts his gun away. She holds out her handcuffs to take it off.
For her a little bit.
And then he just pulls out and shoots her within like a second. Kind of quick draw. Yeah. Gunslinger. Wild West. Just takes her out, shoots her in the stomach. And he says something to her again.
Yeah, he says, you're right. I will go for the main thing, but...
Yeah, thanks for the tip.
You're now useless to me, essentially. And if I let you go, you would have killed me.
Yeah, so like, you're dead. I don't need you anymore. Yeah. I'm going to get a better bounty. And so jumps on his bike and heads back. So then Mandalorian arrives on the dewback and then sees, Fennec Shan's dead. Yeah. And the bike's gone. So then he's like, okay, I guess I'm heading back. So he makes his way back. It's now nighttime because it was daytime.
It took a
full day to get back on dewback. And so he gets to the hangar. And then as he's walking in, he looks over and sees the speeder there. So he grabs his weapon. He comes in, sneakily, of course, but he kind of comes in and it's dark in the hangar. Everything's quiet. One of the pit droids runs by and starts hiding, so he knows that something's going down here. Yeah. And then you hear Toro yell in the background, like, oh, it's finally
took you forever. Yeah.
And he comes
I was on a dewback.
Yeah. So he comes out of the dark. He's got the girl at gunpoint. He's got the child in his arms. Correct. And he's talking to him. And he's like, put your guns down. Throw your blaster down. Put your hands up, whatever. And so he's kind of there. So he throws the gun down because the child's there. Yeah. He even starts talking about the child. He puts the gun to the child's head. So he's like, kind of nervous, and so he sends the girl to go cuff him.
Go cuff him. Put your hands up behind.
So he's there, and then little do we know, he's actually grabbing something in his hand, which turns out to be the flare. So she kind of goes behind him and notices the flare, and so she kind of whispers to him, "Oh, you're smarter than you look."
I thought it was funny too.
So they're having this conversation, blah blah blah. I'm gonna kill you, whatever. And then he pulls up the gun like he's gonna kill him right then and there.
Yeah.
Not take him in, not handcuff him and take him alive. He wants to kill him. And so as he's lifting up the lasso, he shoots off the flare. Guy goes blind, misses a shot, and then of course Mandalorian's hiding, so he's looking around for him, and he comes out of the side. And one shot takes him out.
Yeah.
He's dead. He falls down
with the
child.
Yeah.
And so you think that he crushed him, but then they start looking for the kid. You can't find him, and then he's out in the corner and kind of comes out smiling, whatever.
Yeah.
Very funny, but yeah. So he's dead, and so the girl's there, and the child's safe, and so they're kind of getting ready to go and asking if she fixed everything. She's like, "Yeah, it took me a while, but I got things fixed. I didn't have a droid to help me, all that kind of stuff, whatever." Yeah. So then he grows off the dead body of the gunslinger, takes his money,
correct,
and then
she goes, "Oh, I guess you didn't get paid."
Yeah, that's right. And so he literally dumps the whole bag in her hands, and it's like way more gold than she expected. You got bars, you got coins, you got everything. Yeah. And he's like, "Will that be enough?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, that's enough. We're good."
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Like, this is enough to last me a while.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want the money. He just wanted the ship fixed to get the heck out of there.
Yeah. And then she tells the
droids to go take the body out, and they're like, "We're gonna take it," and she goes, "Drag it out to Beggar's Canyon," which was
another little,
was where
Luke used to go to shoot
the Womp Rats. And Biggs, it's a thing where Biggs and them used to hang out. So very cool. Again, another reference.
Yeah.
And so they kind of take off their ship, take off into space, and so I'm like, okay, here's gonna be credits, and then nope, there's no credits.
There's a little scene.
There's a surprise scene.
Yeah.
It then gives you this weird camera perspective close to the ground of the body of Fennec Shand. And then someone walking towards her.
You see the boots.
We see boots, and then we see a cape, and we see the kneel down, and then it cuts to black.
And so I paused it on the kneel down.
Okay.
They have a blaster.
Yes.
Similar to the Mandalorian.
Okay.
But I don't think it is the Mandalorian.
Oh, well, it's not the Mandalorian. No. It's someone else.
So I paused it, but I could, they're very smart.
So there's two theories here. They're on Tatooine. Okay. So the first thing I thought for sure, and it probably maybe is Carl Weathers' character, because he's probably tracking him. And the way I thought of it is Carl Weathers hired this Toro Calican to be, because he doesn't know who he is, whatever. Listen, if you meet him, you join him, whatever, you do the mission, get your trust, you got to bring him to me. This is my thoughts, right? He had a rebel insignia, right? He had a rebel coin or whatever. So this was his kind of like backhand mission. Give him a little bit about the guild, a little bit of information. Give him like a bounty that's worth enough that Mando would probably join you. Pay this guy to kind of bring him in. And so I think this was all a ruse for Carl Weathers to get his payback. This is my thought. So my thought was that this was Carl Weathers' character, kind of coming off to the bounty.
So you think that he hired Toro?
Yes.
Knowing that...
Because he's not going to show
Toro knew that he was hired for that purpose?
Yeah. This is one theory.
Okay.
This is if it's Carl Weathers.
Now the only thing is, he seemed surprised when the assassin was talking about the Mandalorian and the connection.
Correct. That's true.
That could be.
That's true. But either way,
I do believe it could be him.
It could be Carl Weathers, right?
Yeah.
That because we know that he's coming after him, payback, whatever. So I'm like, it could be him, and he's like, oh,
and he's bound to have a fob too.
Yes, and this guy, if he's new to the guild, why would he get this mission right away? And get I don't know. It just kind of seemed too coincidental.
So I think he might have set him up, knowing that it was big enough that the Mando might,
which works
do that, and not
and
actually
then hopefully
tell
catch him off guard.
He's kind of like the the patsy kind of thing, like the setup.
So that's the one thing, which is probably where they're gonna go, because we know Carl Weathers is gonna be back in the show for sure. Just like we know, what's the girl's name from the last episode? Gina.
Yeah, Gina
Carrera. Or,
yeah,
she's gonna be in it for sure as well. But the other option, which would be absolutely phenomenal, would be Boba Fett.
That's the first thing I thought was Boba Fett.
Because like he's on Tatooine. If he clawed himself out of that Sarlacc. Because it happened in Return of the Jedi. This is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Yeah. It's not a long time.
No, it's possible.
He's got some tattered cloaks. He has a blaster still. Maybe, his backpack got destroyed, so he didn't have a backpack.
Yeah.
Because we know that he flew off and exploded.
Exactly.
So this could be him, and he kind of sees a bounty. Is dead, and he probably knew of her because she was with the Hutt. She was with all these people, and so it's kind of like, oh, someone came after her. So it could have been him. They could have been setting up. Oh, does he make an appearance?
So that was the first thought I had. It was Boba Fett. So
that'd be too good to be true.
That it might be a bit of wishful thinking, but I paused it to see if I could find any hints of what it could be.
If it was going to be him, I don't think they'd make it that obvious. Because everyone would, like, if it was a specific color or specific like the gray boots or something.
It was so dark that you couldn't really tell.
Wasn't the outfit or the boots even the boots itself? Because I only saw it the one time. I didn't pause it. Did it look kind of old and tattered, or did it look like new clean boots? Older. So it didn't look like Carl Weathers' outfit. At least when we last saw him in Navarro, looked pristine,
fresh.
Didn't look battle worn. Yeah. So, I mean, they are in the desert, so it could have just got dusty and sandy. But it just looked like it wasn't like. So I mean, while it probably is him. And I'm saying Carl Weathers, it would be so dope if this is Boba Fett showing up. Because they went to Tatooine, they're all connected, they're talking about stuff, and then, boom, he's slowly making his way. 5 years later, he had to walk across the desert.
3 more chapters in hiding. I mean, like, if you just sprinkle them in a little bit and then have them in on the 8th chapter.
Season 2 or something.
As just at, like, the end, you just see him, and then that's the cliffhanger. And then it's like season...
Oh, man.
Come on. That is a huge cliffhanger for them to hang off on. And people are going to be dying for season 2.
Absolutely. And it's not just one Mandalorian anymore. It's someone else wearing the armor. But then it might be this thing like, you don't deserve the armor. You're not a Mandalorian. There might be this whole thing about that.
Which would be great to bring Tatooine in to bring back Boba Fett, which is where he was stationed.
They wanted to do a Boba Fett show, and they want to do a Boba Fett movie. This could be tying him in. And while it's not about him, he could be in it. He could be an antagonist. He could kind of go off on his own and then spring like he's alive. They have an altercation that kind of goes off. Who knows?
Or maybe helps him and then, like
get some of his equipment back, and then I'm a lone wolf. I just want to get some stuff, and he's got to prove himself worthy because we know that he's a clone now, canon wise. So they must say, well, you're not a Mandalorian, but his father Jango was. So if he's a clone of Jango's, then technically he has the blood of Mandalorian. So it's like, how does that work, right?
Exactly.
So it's cool. So I don't know. I think it's great. Awesome episode. Nice little twist at the end. Yes. We're 3 episodes away from the end of this season.
It's gonna be so sad, but so exciting.
And we're so close to Rise of Skywalker too. So it's like there's so many pieces to play. Yeah.
Oh man. There's so much going on for Star Wars. It's a great time to be a fan.
Oh man.
And they're doing it so well. And then there's more in the hopper. Like you're going to get more and more and more, and it's not going to be the normal Skywalker thing. It's going to be wider Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan movie. We got the Rogue One
prequel. All that stuff is coming,
and then they're going to be doing something else.
Oh yeah.
Instead of the TV show, they'll do movies. Like I said, my theory is that they can't leave the Solo movie without a finale. They have to end the way the cliffhanger. It wasn't really a cliffhanger, but it was like
you introduce back.
You need to know what's happening with that story. What happens with Kira?
How is he in charge of the clan? Like
all that stuff. So they could do a straight to Disney Plus movie where it's a lower budget, but then we get the ending. Exactly. It's a movie. It's an hour and a half.
They'll still make money off it. It'll be
get the actors in
so.
And be done.
Yeah,
and you don't even need all the actors because they're not all going to be in it. We know that Lando wouldn't be in it because their last altercation,
he flew off.
No.
Well, then they did
after he got the Millennium Falcon from him.
Yeah,
we know that's why when they meet in Cloud City, he's pissed off at people because that's why. So they don't need to. So they don't even need to hire him. It's just we need Han. You got Chewie, which they already have the Chewie in all their movies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so that's easy to do. They're gonna have Kira and they're gonna have Trey Parker. Trey Parker will definitely sign up for it.
He seems to be all for that. He loves that.
Yeah, the rest is animatronic. Jabba
CGI and all that stuff,
and then they can bring Bounty Hunters back.
Yeah,
so good.
So true. They can bring it all together. Oh, so exciting!
Yeah,
they have so many options they can do, which is fantastic.
I wouldn't want them to finish it as an animated movie, but I'd be okay with that as long as I get an ending.
Yeah.
If they decide, okay, we're just going to animate it and get the guys to do the voices, it'll be cheaper. I think they can
that. They can still do it properly, live action, and have the actors come in and not have a huge budget. And Disney Plus would be a good avenue for them that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Not everything needs to go to the theater. They can have the trilogy that they're coming out with and fill in the gaps with little Disney Plus.
They have other movies that go straight there. Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah. So there you have it, folks. There's our thoughts. We absolutely loved episode 5, The Gunslinger.
Yes.
But what did you think? Let us know in the comments below. If you'd like to support us, click the subscribe button. Click the thumbs up button there as well if you like the video. Shoot us an email at nerdstalkinfo@gmail.com with any other shows, movies, topics you'd like us to cover. We'd love to hear from you. But ultimately, your comments are what we would be really interested in to keep an open dialogue. Let us know what you thought. Let us know if you disliked something or what your theories of who that character could be.
Or what we missed. I'm sure there's little Easter eggs, little tidbits. Or who do you think is that person at the end?
Yeah.
We'd love to hear your theories.
Absolutely. And then, of course, if you want to meet us on the social medias, we've got Twitter and Instagram at Talk Nerds and Facebook at facebook.com/NerdsTalkCanada. And as always, friends, stay nerdy.